Throughout history, people have anguished over the fundamental questions of human life and the universe without arriving at satisfying answers. To approach this topic properly, it's not enough to examine resultant reality. The fundamental question is that of causal reality. Problems concerning human life and the universe can't be solved without first understanding the nature of God. How can we know the divine nature of the invisible God? One way to fathom his deity is by observing the universe which he created. Thus, St. Paul said, "Ever since the creation of the world, his invisible nature, namely his eternal power and deity, has been clearly perceived in the things that have been made, so they are without excuse." Everything in the created universe is a substantial manifestation of some quality of the Creator's invisible divine nature. As such, each stands in a relationship to God. Just as we come to know the character of an artist through his works, we can understand the nature of God by observing the diverse things of creation. Let's begin by pointing out the common elements which are found universally throughout the natural world. Every entity possesses dual characteristics, masculinity and femininity, and comes into existence only when these characteristics have formed reciprocal relationships, both within the entity and between it and other entities. For example, subatomic particles, the basic building blocks of all matter, possess either a positive charge, a negative charge, or a neutral charge, which is the neutralization of positive and negative. When particles join with each other through the reciprocal relationships of their dual characteristics, they form an atom. Plants propagate by means of stamen and pistil. Animals multiply through male and females. When God created Adam, he said it wasn't good for man to live alone. It was only after he created Eve did he say that his creation was very good. Every creation exists with correlative aspects, inside and outside, front and rear, right, left, up, down, strong, weak, long, short, etc. Everything is created to exist through the reciprocal relationships of dual characteristics. Now, there is actually another pair of characteristics, even more fundamental than male and female. Every entity also possesses an outer form and an inner quality. The visible outer form resembles the invisible inner quality. The inner quality, though invisible, possesses a certain structure which is manifested visibly in a particular outer form. We call this internal nature and external form. Together, these constitute dual characteristics. Let's take human beings as an example. A human being is composed of an outer form, the body, and an inner quality, the mind. The body is a visible reflection of the invisible mind. Because the mind possesses a certain structure, the body which reflects it also takes on a particular appearance. This is the idea behind palm reading and determining someone's character and destiny through their outward appearance. The mind and body are two correlative aspects of a human being. Hence, the body may be understood as a second mind. The internal nature is intangible and causal, and stands in the position as subject partner to the external form. The external form is tangible, resultant, and stands in the position of an object partner to the internal nature. The mutual relationships between these two aspects of an entity include internal and external, cause and result, subject partner and object partner. All beings exist through the reciprocal relationships between their dual characteristics of internal nature and external form. Animals live and move because their bodies are directed by an internal faculty, which endows them with a certain purpose. Plants maintain their organic functions by virtue of their internal nature. Positive and negative ions come together to form particular molecules because within every one of them exists a rudimentary internal nature that guides them toward that end. For energy to form particles, it too must possess an internal nature, which directs it to assume specific forms. Probing deeper still, we search for the ultimate cause, which brought this energy into existence. This being would be the first cause of all myriad things in the universe. As the first cause, it must also possess the dual characteristics of internal nature and external form, which stand in the position of subject partner to the internal natures and external forms of all beings. We call this first cause of the universe God, and we call God's internal nature and external form the original internal nature and the original external form. A human being attains perfection when he centers his life on his mind. Likewise, the creation becomes complete only when God stands as its center. Hence, the universe is a perfect organic body that moves according to God's purpose of creation. We call God our Father because in relation to the universe, He is the subject partner, having qualities of internal nature and masculinity. He created the universe as His object partner with the qualities of external form and femininity. God is the subject in whom the dual characteristics of original internal nature and original external form are in harmony. At the same time, God is the harmonious union of masculinity and femininity. For this reason, it's written in the Bible that human beings who are at the center of the universe are created in the image of God. Everything that you've heard in this video is from the book, The Exposition of the Divine Principle. This book is an absolute full deep dive into the Bible, into Jesus and God, and so much more. I like it because it explains God's providence and history in a very clear and very systematic way. Everything connects, and I've yet to find any holes.